Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, miss, you're audible.
Management, principal, staff, and student. We have received overcoming. We welcome you for today's national webinar. On this webinar, we have received overcoming. Sorry for the technical issue. Good morning, everyone. I, Dr. Mishkil Naik, faculty from Department of Physics, Dhempe College of Arts and Science, Miramar, Goa, on behalf of management, principal, staff, and students, warmly welcome you for today's national webinar on career opportunities beyond borders after graduation. For this webinar, we have received overwhelming response from all over India. We are also streaming this webinar live on YouTube. We have with us Principal of Dhempe College, Professor Brinda Borkar. We welcome you, Madam. The session chair is Dr. M.R. Ramesh Kumar, ex-Chief Scientist and Head of Physical Oceanography Division, Goa. I welcome you, sir. The question that arises in the young mind after graduation is what next, where next? Today's speakers are involved in the field of research, trade and commerce and are the alumni of Dhempe College. They thought out of the box, crossed all the hurdles, focused on achieving their goal and tried to do their dream. I'm sure they will provide invaluable guidance. They will immensely help you in your quest of choosing the right career path and overcoming the hurdles in your reaching there. I welcome speakers Mr. Anjan Gopishetty, Mr. Anmol Naik, Ms. Michelle Rodriguez, who without any hesitation graciously accepted our invitation and agreed to share their experience. I now request Principal Professor Brinda Borkar to deliver the inaugural address.
Good morning all. It is pleasure welcoming you all for a webinar and that too taking an issue that is career opportunities beyond the borders after the graduation. College thinks of skilling the teachers, students and everybody according to the need of the hour. And this year, immediately after the lockdown, we started with webinars online. We have even conducted FDP programs along with other institutions. And what we have realized is, earlier we used to have the seminars or conferences for a restricted crowd. But COVID has made us go online and we have been able to reach out to the various states, various students and even abroad. Our first initiative was FDP with 6 other colleges from other states, in which we had the teachers who had registered for that faculty development program right from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Later we had a students webinar and our students conducted the webinar and again we had the similar response. Now today it is the initiative of Department of Physics and they have involved alumni for the webinar. And I am very happy. Yesterday when I saw we got registration from almost all the states and plus one from Philippines. So online, this type of academic activities have helped us to reach out not only to our college students or the students from Goa, but it has helped us to reach to many other colleges, many other people from the country and abroad. So today we have our 3 alumni with us. Mr. Anjan Gopishetty, who passed out in 2012. At present, he is in Germany working in Frankfurt. Then we have Anmol Naik. He is a research scholar at IIT Mumbai and he has passed out in 2015. And Michelle Rodriguez, she is a research scholar in quantum solid state physics in Belgium. Michelle, student of ours, who not only excelled in academics but had brought laurels to the college in many other activities. So I welcome all three our resource persons and I'm very happy they are our alumni. And an apt personality as a chairperson, Dr. M.R. Ramesh Kumar, who retired as a chief scientist and the head of physical oceanography from NIO. He has been research guide for several students, may it be PhD, MTech, MSc, and he was very active in research when he was in NIO, and today also he is very active in writing the popular articles. And when he came to know about our initiative, I am very happy that he has accepted to be a part of this Dhempe College endeavor. Thank you, sir, for joining us, and I expect your valuable comments after the three presenters complete their presentation. So, once again, welcome all for the webinar, and I hope you make the best use of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Before we begin the session, my humble request to all the participants to mute their microphones and video and not to start their own presentations. Kindly use the chat box for dropping your queries. Towards the end of the webinar, there will be question answer session for raising your doubts and queries. Feedback link will be provided in the chat box of YouTube as well as in the Google Meet, which will remain open till 4 p.m. today. Now, I call upon Dr. Ramamurthy, Faculty, Department of Physics, Dhempe College, to take over the proceedings.
Start. Okay, very good evening to all of you, and let me welcome all the participants for the webinar that we're conducting today on behalf of the Dhempe College of Arts and Science. Okay, here at Miramar, Panaji, I have the pleasure of introducing one of the three speakers for today's webinar session. Okay, and all the three speakers happen to be the alumnus of our college, the College of Arts and Science. The first speaker of today's webinar session is going to be Mr. Anjan Kumar Gopisheti, who's been our alumnus in the Department of Physics at the College of Arts and Science. And I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Anjan Kumar.
Okay. Mr. Anjan Kumar Gopi Shetty has been an alumnus of Dhempe College of Arts and Science and has been a student at this college way back from 2009 to 2012 and graduated from Dhempe College with a graduate degree in the subject of physics with his focus being solid state physics. He also did his project as an undergraduate student under me on the study of the IV characteristics of germanium and silicon transistors during his time as a student here. After that, Mr. Anjan then moved on from 2014-15 to Germany, wherein he worked as an intern at the Hanover Physics Laboratory, and at the same time during the year 2013 to 16 he pursued his master's degree in materials science from Augsburg, Germany, and his focus during his master's degree was materials chemistry, polymers, and low temperature physics. His master's thesis during his stint as a student of the master's degree program in Germany was the study of the influence of ascorbic acid, NOx, and amines on the automobile interior surfaces, the various test method developments, and formulation optimization. Subsequently, Mr. Anjan Kumar then went on to do an internship as a visiting research scholar at NC2U, Hsinchu City in Taiwan, and was very instrumental in the development of the polysilicon nanowire devices on a lab scale for further serial production in an industrial context. He also did a little bit of a stint on the characterization of materials and visualization using different imaging techniques. Following which, in the year 2017, Mr. Anjan Kumar then proceeded on and received a series of scholarship awards, such as the OBS Experience Scholarship at the OBS Business School, University of Barcelona. At present, Mr. Anjan Kumar is right now based in Frankfurt, working at Cold Chain Solutions as a manager, a manager EMEA. And the industry that he deals with is basically pharma packaging and supply chain solutions with focus on cryogenic and deep frozen pharma packaging. Let me welcome Anjan. Good morning to you, Anjan. And I request Anjan to now take over.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Firstly. Hello. Good morning, everyone.
This one.
Uh, can somebody give me a heads up if I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, perfect. So thank you, Dr. Murthy. It's an honor to be talking to everyone today and being part of this initiative by my college, that's Dhempe College of Arts and Science, Miramar, Goa. And as Dr. Burkar just now mentioned, I mean, it's actually a pleasure to see that the college is actually adapting to the changes in the environment or changes in the surroundings that we have today, and has planned a lot of online events. I've been following the college on social media, and it's really pleasing to see that the college has adapted to what is going on in the world right now. That's the corona situation. And I think this is a really nice initiative to have multiple seminars and webinars of this kind online. Special thanks to Dr. Mishkil Naik. She has been instrumental in having this ready, and I think congratulations to her on putting this event on such a large scale. So without further ado, I will start sharing my screen now. Before that, may I request all of you to please kindly turn off your videos and your microphones so that we do not face any problem while we are presenting here. So I'm just trying to pull my presentation out. So, can somebody please tell me if my screen is visible so that I can start with my presentation today?
Not visible, sir. Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, perfect.
Go ahead.
So, yeah. So, I mean, keeping in line with today's webinar program, I am today talking about various ways to make your ways into the industry after a degree in physics, or for that matter, any degree in natural sciences, or after a research position into industrial position after that. My name is Anjan Kumar Gopi Shetty, and I'm currently working as a cold chain solutions manager, EMEA, that is Europe, Middle East, and Africa, at a Swedish company in Frankfurt, Germany. I will further show you my profile, etc., in the latest slides. In my agenda, I have shortened it to respect the time limit that I have, and I will try to give you guys introduction to what I'm going to talk to you about today, tell you about my profile and how I shifted from a research position into a industrial position and then a management position right now. Then I will talk through the main differences between academia and industry. Then ways in which you can make big in the industry or switch to the industry, where and how to start. And since that we are talking today about careers beyond borders, I will talk about the German job market and how to make it in Germany. So the first thing is, the topic of my webinar is how we can, one graduate or somebody in a research institution can move from a research field into the industry or get an employment into in the industrial sector. So I think many of us today are science graduates in this meeting today, and at some point of the time, we do feel that we have to switch into the industry because of obvious reasons like low wages and struggle inside the sectors without career progression, etc. So today, many graduates, when they are actually graduating, are so focused in just completing their degree that they do not actually plan their future steps. And this is absolutely normal. And I think I was also in the same situation when I was graduating, and I did not know what my next steps were. So as I started getting close to my graduation, like other researchers or academicians, I was also thinking about moving into the industry. And I think some of the major um, advantages of moving into the industry are greater job security, better pay scales, greater opportunities for career progression, and goal-oriented research culture. So basically, that's the difference between both academia and research positions and a job in the normal industrial world. To talk about my profile, like Professor Dr. Murthy just gave a short introduction on my profile. I was a graduate student in physics and science, and I graduated with a degree in Bachelor of Science degree in physics and chemistry. My major was physics, and from the Dhempe College of Arts and Science in the year 2012. Then I moved on to pursue a master's degree, Masters of Science degree in Material Sciences from the University of Augsburg. Oops, I'm sorry. There is some kind of a problem. As well. Okay, yeah. I went on to do a Masters of Science degree in Material Sciences. Material Sciences was a very calculated degree that I opted for because material science is a mixture of physics, chemistry, and materials engineering, which gives you a broader scope after after graduating to get into various fields, various industries, or various research positions. So that was a calculated option that I took, and I was also supported by my professors at the Dhempe College, who also advised me, considering my mentality and my personality that they already knew. They thought I'm doing the right choice here. So I did a material science master's degree. Then, as I was getting close to graduation, I realized that it is probably not a good idea to graduate without experience, with zero experience. So I took a master's student or an intern position at Continental AG. Continental is the world's leading manufacturer of tires and automobile systems. I worked there for 1 year while I was studying in order to gain more industrial experience and experience in working in an industrial context. Um, then I further, to expand my horizons, I further took on a position as a visiting research fellow at the National Southern University in Sinshu, where I worked in the nanotechnology field and developed polysilicon nanowire devices. And at this was the point when I realized that research is not something that is my cup of tea. I did not see myself being in a research lab for my entire life, and that's when I realized and I made a decision that I have to switch into the industry, and I started upskilling. What I mean by upskilling, I will talk about it in the next slides. So the basic thing, everybody has a point where he realizes or she realizes that something is not correct for them, and they have to make a change, and that's absolutely normal. For me, that point came here when I was working as a visiting research student at the nanotechnology lab there, and I started looking for jobs in the industry. And that is when I joined as a technical consultant or a lobbyist. A lobbyist is somebody who works for the industry on behalf of the industry and negotiates deals and laws and regulations with the government. So I was a technical lobbyist for the German Engineering Federation. So I was responsible for different projects in the energy saving, circular economy, and other aspects. And I was representing the German industry at the European Commission and various European regulatory bodies. Um, After 2 years of working as a technical lobbyist, I then realized again that this is also not something that I would like to do my entire life. And that's when I decided to upskill again. And I upskilled by doing another master's degree in international business management from the University of Barcelona. This was again something that I calculated, hoping to get a management position or an industrial position later on in life. So I invested my time and money and everything on another master's degree because that was the need of the hour. Once when somebody wants to change, he has to be prepared to invest. He has to be invest not only money but also time and his efforts. So that's my journey of how I made from a researcher. That's me in Hsinchu City in Taiwan. No, I did not see the future, and I did not use mask and gloves because of Corona there. But I was working in a clean room. Clean rooms are where chemical vapor depositions or thin films work, and you are not allowed to have anything that can fly, any dust particles, anything. So you're completely covered. So that's me working in a research position, and today in the industry and currently working in a management position. So that's my short journey of how I made my ways from a research position into a management position. So like I said, everybody will come across one point in their life when they will say that this research or industry is not correct from them, and they have to switch in either of the fields. I am currently working as a cold chain solutions manager for the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region at Envirotena. I'm responsible responsible here for technical qualifications, data analytics, project management, good distribution practices, good manufacturing practices, and the best thing that I like about my job is I get cross-departmental projects in marketing, sales, and R&D. I have put a video here just to show what the company is about and what I actually do. It's a short 3-minute video. So let me play that for you.
Yeah, Anjan, can you hear me?
Nothing wrong for the video. Just asking to continue.
Yeah.
Using time.
Now you can hear me. Yeah, am I audible to you, Anjan? Can you hear me, please? Hello, Anjan, am I audible to you? If you can hear me, you can probably skip the video and move on. You can move on with your presentation. Yeah, dear participants, we have lost contact with our speaker, Mr. Anjan, on account of a technical issue. We are trying to resolve it, and we'll get back to you in a few minutes, in a few seconds. In the meanwhile, I also request our next speaker, Anmol, to be ready.
Yeah. Hello, Dr. Murthy. I'm back. Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible, Anjan. Yeah. You can
Okay.
proceed. You can probably skip the video and go on with your slides.
Yes, please. Yeah, sure. Okay, so the reason why I talked about my profile and my video is because I wanted to give you an idea that you do not have to be from the same field to do something. You just need to have a technical background. I also have this philosophy in my own mind that a graduate in science gains enough problem solving skills that he's capable of doing any given job. So that's the one bottom line that I have here, or the reason behind showing this video. To move forward, the main differences between academia. So firstly, when somebody is thinking of moving from a university, from a research institution to a industry, is they have to keep in mind some main differences. So some of them are size of organizations. So companies or industries generally have a lot of employees, sometimes hundreds and thousands of people. Working atmosphere is a bit difficult because people in the industry have have strict deadlines and have to manage these deadlines on a strict budgets and also deliver these project milestones. Diversity, generally in a company you have people from different backgrounds. So for example, in my own team I have people who are physicists, who are chemists, who are business graduates, who are political science graduates, etc. So in the industry you will get to work with different people. So that is something that you should be ready for. Hierarchies, there are different levels in a company, so you will probably have more than one boss, so you will be answerable to different people in the company, and sometimes that can be a bit scary. So that is something you should be ready for. Scale of projects, generally industries are designed to achieve business related goals, and hence the scale of projects is big always. um, yeah, so that's some of the key differences between the academia and industry. I'm running a bit quickly because I lost time during the technical faults, but I hope when you have questions, I can come back and answer them in detail later on. So the main question, how to make your way into the industry. I mentioned in one of the previous slides that a graduate in science can do any kind of job. So what is actually missing? What is actually missing in a graduate, science graduate, or in a researcher? Or what do we need to prepare ourselves for in the career in the industry? One of the first and foremost things, and the most important thing that I believe, is soft skills. So soft skills is the way you present, the way you communicate, the way you negotiate with your peers, with your customers, and with other people in the company, and your ability to put forward things in a way that people can understand. So soft skills is one of the major and important things that companies look for. I answered various interviews in Germany, and to be honest, more than the technical aspects of my CV, my employers were interested in my soft skills, how I present or how I talk or how I negotiate with people. So soft skills is important. So when you're graduating, make sure that you not only know the Schrodinger's equation, and the eigenvalues, Einstein's eigenvalues, but you also know how to present them, how to put them in simpler forms and convey to normal people. So that's something that I would suggest that you start upskilling already, ability to present and improve your communication skills there. Next is project management. Since the companies are working on a strict budget and deadlines, so project management is something that you could probably incorporate already in your graduations or research companies right now. By project management, I mean how to balance time, budget, and your deliverables. Agility. So agility is how quickly you change and adapt to the conditions in the industry or demands of the industry. Uh, Generally, when we are in a university or in a research position, we are focused on one goal, and any changes, for example, equipment is not working, or something is not working, we are not able to quickly react to this changing conditions. So I think we should be prepared for changes, and that's what I mean by agility. Team spirit. When we're working in the university or in the college, that for example, as an example, Dhempe College, we had a. I'm not sure about now, but when I graduated, we had very less group projects. So team camaraderie, or how to engage with fellow students on delivering a project, is something that I couldn't learn when I was studying. So that is something that we need to inculcate to understand other opinions, and take critical feedback, and work in a team as a team player, even if your opinions are not counted, or if they are not being taken into consideration. We have to adapt ourselves to the technologies, and by technologies, I mean learn new tools like Six Sigma, which is for quality management, project management, or hard skills like programming, etc. And one of the major things that we forget as graduates or researchers is how to market yourself, how to sell yourself. There is a saying that if you cannot sell yourself, you cannot sell a product in the company. So I think you should be capable enough of selling your skills, not overdoing it, but you should be confident about your skills, and be able to sell it to the market. How to start? If you're thinking to switch from academia or work directly after graduation in an industry, some points that you need to start with. Firstly, I think, is your mental condition. You should be mentally prepared for this shift. After the few things that I talked about in the previous slides, the differences in academia and industry, and what skills you need for the industry. If you're mentally prepared for that, that's your first step, that you're mentally prepared. The second step would be know what you want. Some people just want to get a job in the industry, and they do not exactly know which job. So that's something that you need to be confident about, that this is the job, or this is the skill, or this is the trade I want to do. So prepare yourself first mentally, and then ask yourself what you exactly want. And after knowing what you want, you can start researching what skills does that job require. If you want to be a sales manager, what does a sales manager require? A sales manager needs to be good in numbers. A sales manager should be good in communication skills. A sales manager should be good in his negotiation and in his diplomacy. If you want to be a production engineer, what should a production engineer have in his skills? Maybe Six Sigma, which is quality management, and things like that. So know what you want, then gather the skills required for the job. If required, go for another master's course. And I would highly recommend that anybody who is a bachelor student today to go for a master degree, not because it's a fancy master degree, but because it actually helps you expand your horizon and learn more skills and gain more experiences. So please do a master's before you think of switching into the industry. Next thing is, when we graduate, we, like I did, and I had no experience. I had never worked in an industry. I had never worked in a research lab except my thesis under Dr. Murthy. So I had hardly any experience. So look out for internships and spend some time. It's okay to take a break from study and do an internship in order to gain some experience. So look for internships. And the final thing would be, semi-final thing would be to find industry contacts, know which industry you want to work in, get onto LinkedIn, get onto other professional networking sites and look for contacts in that industry, speak to them, ask them what is required in their own company and what skills do they require and how you can actually improve yourself. Last but not the least, prepare a very professional CV, which includes all your details. Since we are talking today about career beyond boundaries, I wanted to give you a quick overview of how the German market looks like. Quickly running through, Germany is known as a country of industry. There are a lot of manufacturing companies in Germany, a lot of pharmaceuticals, a lot of research-based companies. You name it, and all the companies are present in Germany. Audi, BMW, Volkswagen, Airbus, or any other company in the automobile or in the manufacturing sector is present in Germany. So it boasts about a huge industry range which you can choose from. And the best part about Germany is that it believes in equality, and all the workers, whether local or foreign, have same benefits, same salary scales, working hours, number of holidays, etc. And another best part is Germany offers a range of visas. So if you are a skilled worker, because Germany is actually only looking for skilled people. By skilled people, I mean physicists or chemists or engineers or doctors, etc. Because there is a huge vacuum. The industry is growing, but the number of people in Germany are less. So they need people to come and take those jobs and, of course, pay the taxes. Yeah, so that is, Germany offers a range of visas. If you would like to know more, please ask me questions later on. I will be happy to elaborate on different visas in Germany, or you can contact me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to help you there. Of course, a big question that comes to our mind when we try to move to a European country is the language. Belgium, people speak Dutch and French. Germany, people speak German. Italy, people speak Italian. So are we good enough to learn those languages? Learning the language is good, but I think it's not completely must. It definitely helps and opens more doors, but it's not a must, because all the companies right now are multinational companies and there is always a job, but the competition is very, very strict or very hard for English speaking jobs. So that is one thing that you need to be prepared for. Unemployment rates in Germany actually are the lowest in the world. And there are, in terms of job security, you have stringent labor protection laws and social security system. So you cannot actually get fired, I mean, from a company, because there are so strict labor laws that when a company wants to fire you, they have to give the employment agency very, very concrete reasons why they are actually firing you. So that's something that is very good. There is job security. And of course, the final thing I think is about the pay structure. Germany is one of the highest paying countries in the world. So that's about the German market. German market is open for foreigners. A lot of opportunities in the automobile, pharma, manufacturing sector, skilled workers. And then comes a point how to make it in Germany. These are some of my tips. I think very honestly that degrees do not decide your fate in Germany. So a political science student can become a sales manager. A history student can become an R&D expert. So Germany gives you the operational leeway or the options to shift from one skill set to the another. It is, of course, difficult. A bit difficult and challenging because you have to adapt to that particular industry. So degrees do not matter. So do not worry if you don't have a fancy degree. Only thing is you need skills. First thing I would suggest you do in order to make it in Germany is log on to the job portals in Germany and try to look for the jobs which interest you. This will give you an idea of what the job market is like for that particular skill set. So let's say if you want to be a solid state physicist, you can just type in solid state physics and see how many job offers are there today. In that way, you can extrapolate and try to forecast what will be the job demand in the future. Learn basics of the language, if not fluency. So that is why it is necessary to. I'm sorry, I just got distracted because of a technical issue. Yeah, I mentioned in the previous slide that language is not a must, but it is good to learn the local language. It is it is good to respect the local culture, local traditions, and learn at least the basics of the language in order to converse with the local people. Write a detailed professional CV. Germany is very peculiar about its demands, CV demands, and you have to have a professional CV with a good picture, a smiling picture if possible, and also do not forget to include a cover letter. A cover letter generally explains what is your motivation in applying to the job and what makes you the perfect candidate to apply for the job. So cover letter and a CV with a photograph is a must for job applications in Germany. There are some job portals by the government to guide foreign workers. One of it is called Make It in Germany. This is a government-funded, state-sponsored guidance system for foreign workers. You will get A to Z, all the details on this website, different visas, different job offers, etc. Everything is listed here. And lastly, like I mentioned in the first point, degrees do not decide your fate. In the same way, Germany lays emphasis on skills. So you will not be enslaved to your field of study and have the options to switch to industry depending on your skill set. So it is not a very difficult transition if you make yourself open, if your mind is confident, if you upskill, and yeah, it is not a Herculean task to move from the research to industry. Main thing is mental skills, mental mindset, or soft skills that you need to acquire, and then it's an easy game there. That's it from my side. I'm sorry for taking a bit longer. I had some technical issues and I had to accommodate those in my presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Anjan, for the wonderful presentation. I request the participants that if you have any questions, you can always type out your questions, or we will attend to your question session at the end of the webinar. We now have our next speaker for the second session of this event, and our next speaker is Mr. Anmol Naik. A quick introduction of Mr. Anmol Naik. Mr. Anmol Naik was an alumnus of Dhempe College of Arts and Science, and graduated with a degree in geology way back in 2015 from the same college under Goa University. And he later on pursued his Masters of Science in Applied Geology at the Department of Geology at Goa University in 2017, and is right now currently pursuing his PhD in Earth Sciences at IIT Mumbai with a specialization in igneous petrology and volcanology. The current status, as I said, Mr. Anmol is also presently a senior research fellow in the Department of Earth Sciences at IIT Mumbai, studying the shallow magnetic plumbing system responsible for the voluminous Deccan traps under the expertise guidance of Professor Hetu Sheth from the Department of Geology at IIT Mumbai. I request Anmol to take over, and with a request to Anmol to try and stick to your presentation of 6 slides and avoid posting videos. Thank you. And
Thank you, sir, for the introduction. I hope I'm audible.
yes, Anmol, you're audible. Yeah, please carry on.
Yes, let me just First of all, let me just request everyone to turn off their videos, as in I don't want to see you on the screen at the moment, and please do not present in the middle of my presentation. Let me just start sharing my screen with you guys. Just give me a moment. Yeah. First things first, all of you and your families are doing well in these extraordinary times that we are currently stuck in. Thank you, Mr. Man and the organizing committee, for letting me this opportunity to address this webinar. Also, regards to Dr. Ramesh Kumar. It's nice to see you over here after a long time. Hopefully, when things return to normalcy, we'll meet in person and talk regarding whatever we're supposed to talk about. So yeah, my topic for today's webinar is MSc and PhD opportunities at India's premier educational institutes for higher learning. I'm currently a research scholar from the Department of Earth Sciences at IIT Bombay, and I study igneous petrology and volcanology. I'll come back to it in a bit. So without further ado, let's just get started with the presentation. Presentation is not a fixed slide, but I will try and finish it in 20 minutes. So to break down this question, what I've done is I have asked 3 simple questions and I have tried to answer it. Why, how, and where? As in, why go out of Goa? How do we go out of Goa to these institutes? And where are these institutes located? And which institutes should you try and aim for after your graduation? After that, I was also asked to talk about my academic timeline and how I went about achieving my immediate goals, and also a brief slide or 2 slides on the type of research that I'm currently doing. So let's get started with this one. Why go out? I think we can reframe this question in the sense like what is the difference, or what sets these premier institutes apart from the state universities that we are currently aiming ourselves? And the simple answer to this question is the teachers who are present over there and the students who come and learn over there. Teachers who are associated with these institutes, they are the top class researchers who are present. They are the best teachers that are available in our country. They are the foremost researchers in their own field, and they are very good at what they do. So these are the people who literally write the textbook that you study in. So this is what sets these institutes apart. Primarily, the most basic at its fundamental core, the teachers and the students are the difference over here. And the students, in the sense that these students are the ones who are the toppers of their universities, their classroom. So imagine a class where you have topper or the best student from each class, from each universities that we are currently studying in. Like imagine the best student in Dhempe College going and sitting in this class, best student of, let's say, Chogule College going and sitting in this class. And the class is made up of the best students itself. So the learning experience is completely enhanced by the presence of these students who are there. Along with it, there are also some opportunities that we get, like internships. So most of the companies that are there, they screen students on the basis of the institute from which you're studying in. Like for an example, let's say there's a premier organization in our country and you want to do an institute, but you're doing it from state universities. So those premier organizations where you want to carry out your internships, they have a screening program where they look for students only from particular institutes. So being from these institutes, it really helps to get this internship opportunity and to build your career on the basis of the internships that you undertake. It also helps when to prepare for national level entrance exams, which will help you get jobs in different sectors in our country. This is for my field that I'm talking about, but in general, whenever you want a job, you have to answer these exams and get good enough ranks, be in the merit. So that helps because most of the question papers are set by the teachers who teach at these institutes. So you already have like a basic understanding of how or what the level of these exams are going to be at. And they have on-campus placements, so you naturally get better paying jobs at these things. But state universities very rarely have on-campus placement, or the companies that come for these placements, they are local companies, so their pay scale is not as good as what you are supposed to expect at the premier institutes. They have wonderful set of in-house facilities, in the sense instrumentational facilities from state universities or any smaller for that matter. Excuse me, can you please show the video, please? Yeah, so state-of-the-art facilities that are present at these institutes. Moderator, can you please look into it? It's a little bit distracting. Yeah. So I was talking about in-house facilities. So whenever you want to carry out any experiments, when you are from a smaller institute, you have to literally slog. You have to beg your professors and guides to get an appointment at these institutes or at an institute where you have the instrumentation facilities. So being from these institutes or top institutes really help. All you have to do is take a small appointment and carry out your own instrument however you want to. So this slide was for MSc students, why you have to go out, or how you can go out to pursue your MSc degree. But when it comes to PhD, things are a little bit more complicated than a simple answer your exam and get admission at these institutes. For PhD, it is essential that you find a right mentor from whom you can learn and who can guide you in your life, for that matter. Because PhD is just not a degree. When you sign up for PhD or when you enroll for a PhD, you're not just enrolling for one degree. What you are doing is you are choosing a way of life, because that is what PhD is. PhD is not 4 or 5 years of your degree, but it is for your life. That is what you're doing. You're entering that type of lifestyle. Like the previous speaker, he spoke about industrial lifestyle. So this you are purely academic. There are further subsections which we can discuss later. So when such a thing happens, it is essential that you find the right mentor for yourself. So do not apply blindly just because of the name of institute. As a researcher, you will be solely judged on the basis of the quality of your publication, and definitely not from which institute is the publication coming from. So you can do a wonderful job sitting at Dhempe College. You can publish, so they will know you. So when it comes to PhD, what you have to do is you have to find the subject that you love first. Make a list of researchers who are working in the field that you're interested in, and write to them. Express your desire of wanting. So that is very important. That run behind Premier Institute tag that you get. My current professor, if he was, let's say, a mentor at Goa University, I would probably run after him as well. I was lucky enough to find him at one of India's premier institutes itself. But there are advantages usually. Usually these top researchers in our country, they are present in the premier institutes. So you will get them in the institutes like IIT, IISc, NIO for that matter, NCPO, or you just name it. So they're always there. But make sure you get to know your mentor before applying for a PhD. Let's move on to the second question, the how. As in, how do we get admissions into or get admitted into these premier institutes? The simplest answer is entrance exams. In India, most of the admissions at these premier institutes are based on the basis of itself. You have to answer their individual departmental exams itself. So similarly, there are these national level exams, like in Leamington University, we have IIT JEE Mains and JEE Advanced. Similarly, for masters, we have this top exam which is called as JAM, that is Joint Admission Test for Master Science in India, which gives you admission into top top colleges like IITs, ISCs, ISERs, National ISERs, NITs, and etc. Other colleges. This exam is held once a year in the month of February. Please make notes regarding this thing. Even though it's held in the month of February, the registration is usually starts in the month of August, last week of August to first week of September. So make sure you just do a simple Google search, just type JAM, you will get all the details regarding that exam. And this is worth answering and cracking and getting admitted into those institutes. Because your life will completely change. It won't be the same that it would be if it was let's say you were doing it from state universities. The lifestyle is completely different in these top institutes for the previously mentioned reasons. The portion generally covers whatever you have learned till your BSc degree, that is your 11th, 12th, and your BSc degree, basic concepts about it. You can go through the question papers regarding these exams. It's relatively simple to answer, but the trick over here is not just answering the exam, but getting a good enough rank in these exams. So that is what sets these institutes apart. You can answer this exam, correct this exam, but it is essential that you come into top 50 ranks in the full country so that you get admitted into these institutes. For example, at IIT Bombay, if you want admission in the MSc class, you have in top rank 15 in this particular exam. So I'd answered this exam twice, cracked it twice. Unfortunately, the rank was not high enough, so I had to settle for local universities. I don't regret it, but I'm just telling you my story regarding this. For MTech, you have one exam which you have to answer. MTech is the degree that you undertake after your BTech degree or your MSc degree. The exam is called as GATE. It is conducted once a year in the month of February. Again, the registration starts a little bit in advance in the month of September, I guess. Again, just do a simple Google search, you'll get to know about it. So MTech is for super specialization. After your MSc, when you want to do something very specific, you enroll for MTech degree. So at times it loses its value because people don't take it seriously. They consider it as like a time pass degree because it helps them crack other high-paying job exams. But if you do it seriously, it is worth taking it up. If you want to join industry, it is worth taking up the MTech degree and getting into the industry with that degree. For PhD, things are a little bit more trickier. You need to have two things with you. One is you need to be qualified to do a PhD. That is, you need to crack the eligibility test. In India, we have one which is called as CSIR UGC NET. NET stands for National Eligibility Test. So this is how in India you are basically CSIR UGC NET, what it does is it basically gives you a qualification certificate. It basically tells you that yes, this particular person has the aptitude to carry out a PhD. And along with that particular qualification, that is your CSIR UGC NET JRF qualification, you also need to have a fellowship. That is, you need to have a scholarship with you. You cannot do a PhD without a scholarship. There are again small loopholes which I will get through. So these fellowship providing exams, there are three of them. One is GATE, as I discussed previously, Graduate Aptitude Test in Engineering. Second one is this NET, and third one is DST Inspire Fellowship. DST Inspire Fellowship is given to all the MSc students who has topped their own class at university level examination. So all the toppers of your university level examination, that is your MSc class topper, they are eligible for this DST Inspire Fellowship. You can also do PhD when you're by self-sponsored. It does not really make sense at early career stage, because these are the self-sponsored categories are the ones which are taken up by people who already have a job and they want to do a PhD along with having a job. You can also be enrolled as a project JRF. So there are, again, let me just conclude this slide. There are three fellowship providing exams. That is your GATE, CSIR, UGC, NET, and DSC will be given rupees 39,000 per month to study. So that is a pretty cool deal that they can get out of it. But don't go in for the money. Make sure you enroll for a PhD only if you think you're capable of doing it for the entire life. It is not just those 4 years or 5 years, but this is something that you will have to take up for the rest of your life. Questions for these exams usually covers concepts from BSc studies or your MSc level education. These exams are pretty tough, so you need to be focused on these exams. You need to be focused to carry out all the preparations regarding these exams. And when you want to crack GATE or when you want to crack the CSI UGC NET, it also helps that you are from a premium institute because their portion is kind of focused on cracking these exams. So you get the education, you get the help from the teachers itself. Whereas whenever you're from state universities, you have to make an effort yourself to get enrolled into these exams or to get basically to put an effort yourself. But because the course structure at these premium institutes are such that they are focused or they are directed towards cracking these exams, these top exams. The last question is, where should you aim? I haven't named all the institutes over here, but with the institutes that I have named currently, you cannot go wrong with your choice. Those are Indian Institute of Technologies or IITs as we call. Most of the campuses, they are considered as premium educational institutes in our country. The IISc, that is Indian Institute of Sciences, which is in Bangalore, is just the top pinnacle of science educational research in our country. Then we have these other institutes called as ICERs, NICERs, and NITs. So I'm sure you must have heard about these institutes. Even if you haven't, it does not matter actually. But these are like specialized institutes which deal with science education research and just any degree of a higher caliber, basically. So along with these national level institutes, we also have state level universities, top state universities who are kind of competing at the same level as these national institutes. Like let's say Delhi universities, Jabalpur universities, JNU, BHU. These are the top state universities which you can think of applying. They have their own entrance level exams or entrance exams. So make sure you just do a simple Google search to get what their entrance exam is about or what their performance is in your department of choice. So just know that particular thing. But when it comes to the top tier institutes, if you get admission over there, please take it blindly. It is worth getting a degree from these institutes because it helps you in the near future. We may say that degrees does not matter, but in the long run, it is better to have a degree than not have a degree at all. So keep that in mind. I'm not trying to push the degree on your throat, but make sure you take the educational institute a little bit seriously. So that was about how, why, and where. Let me just talk about my timeline in brief. Murthy sir gave a small introduction regarding that thing anyway. I'm an alumnus from Dhempe College of Arts and Sciences. I passed out in 2015 from Geology Department. It still is a wonderful department, and it's nice to see a lot of my colleagues in the department currently attending this webinar. So hello to you all. After that, I went to. Before that, I answered my JAM. I cracked it, but not with a good enough rank. So did not get an opportunity to attend MSc degree at these top institutes. So I had to settle for Goa University. I completed or passed out in 2017 with a degree in applied geology. So along the way, like somewhere in second year of BSc, I was focused. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to get into academia and get into research. So at the start of my MSc degree, I was focused on getting admitted as a PhD student at top institute. doing it under a capable guide. So what I did was I answered these eligibility tests and fellowship level exams. So I cracked CSI, UGC, NET, JRF. I cracked GATE, and I was the first rank holder of my batch. So by the time I had my MSc degree in my hand, or by the time the results were declared, I was eligible for PhD fellowship from all possible fellowship providing agencies. So I had this goal in my mind to achieve it, and I worked during my scholar at Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, and I'm studying volcanoes. And I'll tell you what about it in the next slide. So what I do basically gets me to travel around India, and at was taken at Oman earlier this year. Imagine that somebody could hear this year, situation that we are in currently. So what I'm standing on basically is very special. These rocks in the background or on which I'm standing on currently, they are very special in the sense these are the rocks which made up the sea floor. So these were like at the depth of 5 kilometers or 6 kilometers, which got thrusted on the surface of the earth somewhere around 90 million years ago. So these are now preserved, and we have gone there to study these rocks. So it was an amazing experience. Uh, this is my team over here. If you can't identify me, I'm the one far right. Next to me is one of our MSc students. Next to him is my professor, Professor Hetu Sheth. He is the best at what he does, and I say in the whole world itself. Next to him is one of our postdoc scholars, Dr. Chansar Sheikh. And there are two more people who are missing in this picture. The one on the and he's working and he's doing a PhD along with that. And next to me is Joseph. He also had his roots in Goa. So this is my team. They are very helpful. It's good to have a good team with you, along with a good mentor. You need to have a good team that motivates you, that guides you along the way when you're doing your MSc as well as when you're doing your PhD. Yeah. So this is what I study. I study volcanoes, as Sir mentioned earlier. So I study a particular type of volcano. It's called as flood volcanoes. So this is the time when there are rivers of molten rocks, that is rivers of lava that are flooding the surface of the earth. Okay, so what I'm standing currently is 800-meter thick sequence of lava. So there were like lava flows, one on top of each other. It piled up, and it made a 800-meter thick sequence. So this was somewhere in Mount Pavagad in Gujarat. So this is what I study. I study mostly how the magma was generated, how it got transported through the earth, what are the processes that went about it. My research topic is in the Deccan Traps, which you can see in green over here on the map of India. So that is a type of flood basalt lava. So this is the part of India which is now weathered and eroded after 65 million years, which was completely covered by volcanic rocks. There was a huge volcano over here 65 million years ago. And I study its implications on climate, on mass extinction level events, like the ones which wiped out the dinosaurs. So we have a very strong theory which supports that it was not the meteorite impact or the asteroid impact that wiped out the dinosaurs, but it was these large volcanoes which create a large amount of lava and gases, toxic gases in the atmosphere. They changed the climatic condition and made it toxic for the then lives which were ruling the earth. So this is my research in 2 slides basically. If like 5 years ago, if I were to ask you to draw a volcano, this is something what you draw. You draw a triangle, you draw a cloud, and you will draw a pipe, which probably you will draw a pipe which will transport lava to the surface. So we call this as a balloon and storm model. And I deal with something like this. I deal with how the magma is transported to the earth. So based on interdisciplinary studies, including geochemistry, geophysics, geomagnetics,
we modified this particular thing. So this diagram of volcano currently looks somewhat like this. So there is a large substructure or the substructure architecture, which we call, which is not seen on, which we have come to recognize through intense research for the last, let's say, 60 years. And I'm contributing one small drop to this huge ocean of knowledge that there is present over there. So my research problem basically states that where the magma was generated, how it got transported, as in what are the transporting agencies, where was it stored in the Earth's crust, and what are the changes that took place along the way. Like how did the nature of magma change? Did its composition change? Did the temperature change? What are the textural changes that took place? So that is what I study in brief. And I guess I'm at the end of my slides. This was the most important slide which I wanted to talk about. I would like you guys to take some few learnings from this slide. First one is aim higher. Do not settle for something which is easily available. I'm sure most of us think that some things are very, very difficult in life. Like it is not achievable. But trust me, we are what we think is achievable and what is achievable is completely different. You just need to get started, be focused on what you want, make sure that you have a clear goal in your mind, and keep working towards it. Keep your head down and keep working towards it. You will achieve your goal. If not, the second best thing that can happen is really close to your goal. And it is not such a bad thing. So make sure you aim higher. You take an opportunity to learn from the best that there are. Don't settle for something that is easily available. Get out of these of our state. Aim for these premium institutes. And one more thing which I want you to. This is a personal request from my side. Is when you go out, when you learn from these, when you know how to conduct yourself, make sure you come back so our next generations don't have to go out again. Make sure that we make Goa as an educational hub. Let's make sure we put Goa on the map of India, one of India's top educational institutes or top educational hub in our country. So that is a small request from my side. I'm sure most of us are capable of doing so. So let's say in the next 10 years, we can lift Goa from where it is currently and take it to the next level, which I'm dreaming of. So this was my last slide. These are my contact details. You can please feel free to contact me personally if you want to regarding any of the questions that you might have on the topic that I just spoke, or if you want to discuss anything more than that particular thing, which you feel that I am capable of answering. Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity, sir. And I really enjoyed doing this particular thing. So you can take away, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Anmol. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. It was short and sweet and very informative. I'm sure all the participants here will be waiting to gather information from you, okay, with regard to your presentation. Thank you so much. We have our last speaker for today's session. And our last speaker is once again our alumnus, Michelle Rodrigues, who was a student from Dhempe College of Arts and Science again, and graduated with a specialization in physics way back in the year 2018. She was also a topper at the university level in the subject of physics. Let me welcome Michelle once again. And a quick introduction of Michelle. Michelle then moved abroad and migrated to UK to pursue her master's in nanomaterials and material science from the University of Sheffield in the United Kingdom. And she once again excelled in whatever she did there. She was a topper once again in the master's program. And I'm very happy to say that, being an alumnus of Dhempe College of Arts and Science. And currently, Michelle is now pursuing her PhD in quantum solid state physics, in short known as QSP, okay, at the KU Leuven Institute in Leuven, Belgium. Let me welcome Michelle once again, and it's nice to see you on our screen. And I request you to take over, Michelle, and restrict your slides to as short as possible. Let's say about 6 slides. And if you have a video, I know there are technical issues with posting videos. So refrain from posting a video and take over now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I just want to confirm 2 things. First, if I'm visible, and second, 3 things: if I'm visible, if I'm audible, and if my presentation is visible. Okay, so let's begin. A very good morning, good afternoon. I'm not sure about the time difference here, but so my name is Michelle Rodriguez, and today I'm going to possibly answer this question of that most graduates have, like I graduated, or mainly in this case, I am going to graduate. What do I do next? So I will talk about how you can pursue further education and research as an option, but outside India. So I'll just introduce myself in one slide. So my research journey basically started in Goa at Dhempe College of Arts and Science, where I enrolled in 2015 for the bachelor's degree. My subjects were physics, chemistry, and maths. And I was pretty much good at everything, but I was not so good at physics, I would say. So I decided to take it up as a challenge and major in physics. And then I did amazingly well. And then in my 3rd year, I read something about nanomaterials, and that really caught my eye. So that was the motivation for me to look for courses based on nanomaterials. And at that time in India, based on what I particularly wanted to do was thin films, we didn't have much courses. There was only one college, which was Manipal Institute, which was offering it, but still not very aligned to what I wanted to do. So I started looking for universities abroad, which I will come back to later. So that's what made me move. And I decided to pursue a degree in nanomaterials and material science at the University of Sheffield. The beauty of doing a master's degree in the UK or in Europe is that you can do this degree in a year, whereas in India, it would take you about 2 years. So it also saves you a year. And then again, I was graduating now from this degree. So you would probably think I had the question of, okay, I'm going to graduate now, what do I do next? But luckily enough for me, I didn't have that question anymore, because as I was doing my master's degree and as I was getting hands-on experience in my research field, which was thin films at the time, I realized that research is something where I wanted to be. It was something where I saw myself. I loved working with equipment, loved bringing out results, publishing them. So I also worked on composites, but my main expertise would be thin films. So then I started looking out for PhDs, and that brings me to where I am today, and that is KU Leuven, Belgium, pursuing a PhD in the Department of Quantum Solid State Physics with the main focus on multiferroic thin films. And our aim would be to investigate the magnetoelectric coupling, the origin of this, using experiments and first principles like density field theory. An important thing to note here is that both these universities, the University of Sheffield and the KU Leuven, Belgium, are top 100 universities in the world. University of Sheffield ranked at 75 and University of KU Leuven ranked at 80. So these are very high research output universities. So now the main thing as to why I'm here today is to talk about how to actually get into these universities. So the first thing, when do you start looking? Now, if you're in your bachelor's degree and you're moving to a master's, my main focus of my talk is this, because I think the participants are more at this level rather than going at a higher PhD level. So I will focus my talk more on how to apply into a master's abroad. So when do you start looking? The ideal time to start looking would be in the beginning of your 3rd year, or if not beginning, at least mid 3rd year, so that you don't lose a year, you don't have to take any gaps to pursue this education. So I would suggest that it's never too early, but it can definitely be too late. And the reason I'm saying that is because the application deadlines for these universities are much before you even graduate, and like not even graduate, like before you even answer your sixth semester, which is your final semester. So if you wait to graduate and then look for these courses, you're definitely going to be too late and you'll miss out completely. So you have to make sure that if you're interested, you start applying from a very early stage. Then how now when you start looking, what is your approach? You should approach on shortlisting universities. Find your area of interest. Like for me, it was nanomaterials. So I started looking out for universities that offer this course, nanomaterials. So then you can start shortlisting universities. You can go, if you're looking for top 100 universities in the world, because then the money that you're investing, your parents will be investing to give you this education will actually be worth it. So try to go for these high output universities. You can check the rankings of the universities by Googling QS World Rankings, and you'll get an entire list. It gets updated every year. And yes, so then you can choose your universities that way. Also, when you see the title of the MSc or MEng, you will have a particular title, but it's not necessary that the modules and what they are going to teach you, the course content, is going to be something that you're actually looking for, because they have certain core modules and they have certain modules that are common to the department. So you have to make sure when you're shortlisting the universities, you also check the modules, you check the programs, you see that yes, this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to be happy doing, and that's how you check. You also check supervisors on the university website, so you can already have an idea of, yes, if you get in, whom you would probably want to supervise your dissertation and your line of interest. Then finally, I would say be mentally prepared for the outcome. As I was introduced as a topper in the field, I was never overconfident. You shouldn't be, but definitely be confident about yourself. So my university of choice was the University of Sheffield, but because it was so highly ranked, 75th in the world at the time, I didn't know if I would get accepted, because obviously you're competing for a seat at these universities at a global level. So it's taken up an entire notch higher. So I applied to 8 other universities in the UK. So that made it 9 universities abroad total and 1 university in India. That was Manipal. So you have to make sure you have these kind of, many data points in your data set of universities, because then you have a good safety net. So that you're not left without an option. So, and again, be mentally prepared, because again, the probability of you getting into these universities is half. Like you're either going to get in or you're not going to get in. So don't, go in with a mentality like, yeah, I'm definitely going to get in, because that can be very mentally devastating. So you should be mentally prepared. So now that you've started looking and you've down selected your universities, you've checked the programs, you're happy with your selection of universities, then starts the application procedure. Now, applying to these universities is as good as applying to a job. You would require a CV, you would require transcripts, you would require letters of recommendation, and you would also require a personal statement or an depends on the university, maybe even an essay. Now, transcripts, these come from your university. So you are not doing anything for that. You're just going to apply for it. Letters of recommendation, these again come from the people that you ask. So I would suggest get one mainly from your head of institution, like principal, and one from somebody you worked with very closely, like probably the supervisor of your bachelor's project or your master's project if you're applying for a PhD. And again, letters of recommendation, you are not writing anything. They are writing it from their side for you. So now what is left? What you have to do is your CV and personal statement or essay. Now, these two things are your only selling points. The admission committee, they don't know you. They don't know who you are. They don't know Michelle. I don't know who's on the committee. So my only selling point to show them who I am and, like to really tell them that, yes, I deserve a seat at your esteemed university is through your CV and an essay. Now, at this point in our academic career or in your career for that matter, you don't have a lot of experience work-wise. So make sure that your CV is very precise, concise, and to the point. It shouldn't exceed more than one A4 page. Try to put in kind of universities, these higher ranking universities, they don't want somebody who's just good at academics. They want a well-rounded individual. So if you have sports, if you have co-curriculars, make sure you mention it, but again, not exceeding a page, because you can imagine the volume of applications that they get in thousands, and then they down select those applications to a mere 100. So you have to make sure that you really stand out in your application. Then your personal statement is again something that gets read and screened by them. In this, you have to basically, it's like a motivation letter. So this is literally like applying for a job. You have to tell them your motivation for applying to that university, what attracted you, why you chose that university, why you're moving out. And these are pointers that they are not going to give you. This is something that you should write on your own. So there are a lot of tools, a lot of help things related to writing a CV and a personal statement for admission in universities available on Google. So just Google it and just go for it. Another thing I would like to say is that these things, preparing this application, is not a 1 day or a 1 hour thing. It takes time. It really takes time. If you finish doing all of this in an hour or in a day, you've probably gone somewhere massively wrong. So make sure you don't rush with it. You take your time and you sit with a cool mind and you actually write all these things, because you only get one shot at it. And if you really want to get in, you have to make that one shot count. So this is the whole procedure and the whole route. Even I have followed this route, so it is a foolproof method. So this is the way that you can get into these universities. When you apply for a PhD in universities abroad, it's more of an interview process. They take a lot of, it takes months, the entire admission procedure, and it goes in levels. So they check everything, your interpersonal skills, your CV, if you can speak, they ask you to present your previous work and all. It's like a 3-step process, face-to-face or like Skype or whatever process, but it's like it goes on in phases, because in PhDs they only have like one position, at the most 2, but yeah. So this is the way that you can enter into these deemed universities. So now, just to give you an idea of what exactly we do in research, that will be the next half of the presentation, which I will try to like skip through. I mean, not skip through, but like power through, because it's just equipment that I want to show you that I worked on. Yeah, so let's go ahead. So this was the topic of half of my dissertation in my master's degree. It was a very big dissertation, almost 2 projects. But I'll just show you the equipment that we used for this half. We also have a paper published on this, and try to get publications out of it if you want to apply for a PhD and everything, because that also really helps. So we just looked at some magnetic thin films. In this case, it was iron, gallium, silicon, boron, and my supervisor at the time was Nicola Morley, and she is she's very highly skilled in magnetic thin films and characterization and everything. So where these films are used, basically, they're used in almost all magnetic memory devices, mainly, and also in like sensors, actuator systems and everything. The principle, this is the only definition slide in this presentation, so don't worry. The principle on how this works is like, basically, I hope you can see my cursor. So all ferromagnetic materials show this property. When there is no field applied, it will be like this. The domains, magnetic domains, are randomly aligned and they cancel out each other. So your net magnetic moment is 0. But when you apply a field edge in, say, this vertical direction, going from down to up, you will see that the magnetic domains, they start aligning themselves in the direction of the field. So at a very, very, very small level, in the range of nanometers, you can actually see the elongation, the change in dimension of this magnet along the direction of the field. And this is what we call magnetorestriction. So you're basically applying a field and changing or straining the material. The inverse of this also exists, and this is the principle of how these magnetic films are used in applications of sensors and actuators and everything. Although this is a very, very exaggerated image of what actually happens, the elongation, it's very, very small in real life. So now, to make these films, obviously you have to grow these films on a silicon substrate. That's what we chose. And the beauty of working in these universities is that you get to work with the people some of the people who actually formulated these techniques. So this particular growth technique of co-sputtering evaporation, where you use sputtering and evaporation, was actually formulated by my supervisor at the time. Before I joined, obviously, with her colleagues. So they created this system where you can sputter and evaporate 2 targets at the same time on the substrate, also monitoring the thickness and everything. But then we also have to confirm whether what we're doing is right in terms of thickness. So then we use an equipment called the atomic force microscopy. It's something like this. It takes an hour to just adjust and align, but the measurement will take you only 5 minutes. But the main thing is the alignment over here. With this equipment, you can find the surface roughness, how rough your film is. You can find the thickness, and you can also find the grain size if there are any grains present on the film. The next kind of equipment, this is the result of what AFM data looks like. This is how you can see what you cannot see with your naked eye using atomic force microscopy. So here you can see like it's pretty smooth. There's no much morphology over here, but in these films you can actually see that yes, there are some grains and some grains being forming, and there is a transition from an amorphous phase to a crystalline phase, and that's what we confirm like this. So this is how we interpret results, and as you can see from the scales of these images, they're in micrometers, and the morphological dimensions are in nanometers. So that's how low you can go in terms of resolution. Then this is a very common equipment you must have already heard of, an X-ray diffraction machine. But this is a grazing incidence one. So your sample probably goes here. And because the film is very thin, it was only 16 nanometers in thickness. And as you know, nanometers 10 raised to minus 9 meters. So it's very, very thin. So you need a laser, you need a X-ray that's going to go very, very close to the surface so you can actually get good data. So this is what an XRD result looks like, what you bring out from the system. And if it's probably like a dead beat, it's probably an amorphous film. But if you see some peaks, depending upon their heights and everything, you can calculate the lattice constant, the crystallite sizes, stress and even strain to a certain extent in these films. The next equipment that I used was a MOC magnetometer, which is based on magneto-optical Kerr effect. So this is basically when you have a laser of a polarized, certain polarization falling on a magnetic material, it will change the polarization axis of that laser. That change in polarization, the rotation we call Kerr rotation, the change, and that is proportional to the magnetization. So from this equipment, you can pull out hysteresis loops, which I will show you in the next slide. So you can get hysteresis loops, which is the defining feature of these magnetic materials. And you get a lot of information just by looking. So you can see that, yes, there were some changes. It got the cohesive field, which is this, has increased in the films. And yeah, and it's very nice to check anisotropy and everything. And also, as you can see, it gives you some phases and all. And in some samples, you can also see double loops, triple loops, depending on what exactly is going on over there. So these characterization techniques are like very vital for any magnetic sample. And then the last equipment that I will show you, besides the others that we used, is a very interesting one. It is a superconducting quantum interference device. In vibrating sample magnetometry, we just say SQUID VSM in general, and that's what this thing is. You put in your sample here and it vibrates about a mean position at a particular frequency, and from this equipment you can pull out the magnetic moment and also the magnetization, which you further use to find magnetostriction. So this is how we use different equipments. You actually get to use this hands-on, and you get to read about it in theory at lower levels, but when you actually get to work on these things and you get results and you analyze them, I don't know, but for me, it's a very happy moment in my life, and that's why I really like research as a field. So yeah, my concluding words would be to think big, to dream big. If your dreams don't scare you, they're probably not big enough, so you have to dream big. Definitely work hard and never give up. Also, there's a very common saying that people say, like, yes, if one door opens, like 10 other doors will open. Yes, I agree with that, but they will only open if you knock on them. So make sure that you're always striving for perfection in everything that you do. And with that, I would like to conclude my presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michelle. That was a wonderful presentation. Once again, short and very sweet and informative. And it was a pleasure hearing to you, just as the other two speakers. Okay, and it's all the more a pleasure when we see, our alumni, excelling in their own fields. Anjan, Anmol, and then yourself, Michelle. Thank you so much, okay, for spending your valuable time. And I'm sure all the participants, okay, must be waiting to hear from you if they have questions. Right, so we'll have a question and answer session at the end of this seminar. Thank you. Yeah. Dear participants, we haven't yet wound up with the session. We have our chairperson for today's webinar session, a very, very senior scientist from the National Institute of Oceanography, Dr. Ramesh Kumar, who will now be taking over the session. So give us a few seconds before we get back to you. Yes. Okay, and our chairperson for this session, Dr. Ramesh Kumar, will now be speaking on careers in climatic science. I request you, sir, to please take over.
Thank you. First of all, let me thank the Dhempe College because recently only they celebrated, on 20th June they celebrated their Founders Day, almost 1 week after that. And I congratulate all the people, Gopinath Shetty, Anmol Naik, as well as Michelle Rodriguez, who gave actually nice this one. I'm actually into the research area. In fact, Anmol has taken more or less what I wanted, and Michelle also mentioned about how it is important to have actually SOP, statement of purpose is very, very important if you want to have a career. And I also agree with Anmol in the sense that when you go for a summer internship or a dissertation, it is very important. Luckily that way, I would say Dhempe College is fortunate to have several institutions within the Goa. For example, we have NIO just across, we have NCPOR, at actually Vasco da Gama, we have a PITS, we have IIT, we have NIT, you name it, everything is there within the small state of Goa, where we can. So I will just mostly talk on career climate science and mostly to physical oceanography and meteorology. Now, why we should think of climate science actually? Because if you look at actually this slide, the ocean that are from about 3 meters of the ocean road. I did my grad at from the 83% of the carbon pollution is the IPCC report, and now it is still climate change and it's like very now coming to this one, if you look at the various professions shown here, you can see that maximum amount of people actually want to be an engineer or a doctor. In a small state of Goa, nobody wants to do the scientific profession. You can get actually only now 3% or 3.6% only people because that's a basic profession from here. Okay. Very few people join and even the maximum number of people actually want to be an engineer or a doctor. There are no states of Goa. 3.6% of people want to look at that. Unfortunately, and very few people want to take this profession. Now, as Anmol has correct, if you want to look at the aptitude of the student, it's a very, very important thing. If you want to look at PhD is not actually a this one, or maybe the aptitude of the student is very important, the learning ability of the student. I won't go into much details of that. And after graduation, for example, if you look at Goa University, you can actually do some of the courses like say MSc in Marine Science. But if you look at other places also, you can say also in Andhra University, the oldest which offering both in physical oceanography and meteorology, started back in 1948. And the other universities like Cochin University, Hyderabad Central University, there are a number of universities which offer courses in MSc in physical oceanography, MSc in atmospheric science, etc. Plus, there are other courses which they can be done. I won't go into the details. Oh, only this is done. Okay, now I think we have taken 1 minute. Just that 2720, I think we have not taken the correct one. 1 minute. Just give me that. That folder answer. Oh, no, it's not a carry on science. Except Magdalena.
Yeah, dear participants, we have just encountered a technical issue and we are getting back to it. So I request all of you to hold on.
One slide is good enough. Okay, I think that's good enough. Yeah. We can just put the initial slide again there. Okay, I'll just stop. So basically, there are n number of opportunities. Now, after graduation, this one, where are the careers? For example, there are various careers as actually Anmol was mentioning, as well as Michelle Rodriguez was mentioning. If you do, and in addition to this regular course in climate science, there's another course called we can do in astronomy, for example. Astronomy is another good area where people after doing physics, for example, for example, can do it IIC and maybe Indian Institute of Astrophysics actually in Bangalore, AFR, Physical Research Laboratory, or as well as IUCA. There are n number of places where you can do an astronomy course also. So once you graduate MSc in meteorology or MSc in physical oceanography, etc., where can you go? There are various institutions like the National Institute of Oceanography, which is in Donapola. We have some 3 regional centers. In addition, there's an institution called National Center for Ocean and Polar Research, which is actually in Vasco da Gama. We have INCOIS, that Indian National Center for Ocean Information System, Hyderabad. We have an institution called National Institute of Ocean Technology in Chennai. So there are n number of institutions which are the recommendation. This is actually very important. This one, just like as the things which you go actually to the subsurface, or if you want to look at into the atmosphere, like radio zones, or you want to look at the things are quite different when you go to the ocean. The pressure is different, the temperatures are different, and the instruments to function that's actually much more fun. So I would say a marine instrumentation course is actually important. If you want to do physics or whatever, and even astronomy courses are actually available. So there are a number of courses and getting a job. After MSc in physics or MSc in meteorology, or maybe MSc in this one, you can pursue a PhD. Either it can be in Goa University. In fact, I did my PhD from Goa University, and even at NIU or NSC, you can actually do. Most of the CSIR labs nowadays actually course called our own PhD degree is called PhD course like Chandigarh can do like for the science also. That's a very important topic which is can take up. In space sciences also, there's institutes like say Raman Research Institute in Bangalore. So there are maybe IUCA institutes like say Raman Research Institute in Bangalore, in Bombay, IUCA number of universities, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Bombay, masters number of universities can do and most of the careers in most of the careers are already spelled out. Qualifications are already spelled out. And the examinations are already spelled out. We actually gave more. The various CSR, DST, etc., you can get into. Okay. So I would stop here. Thank you, and I'm ready to pose the questions.
Yeah, dear participants, if you have questions, we will now have a question and answer session. Okay, Anjan, I hope you're audible to me.
Yes, Dr. Murthy, I'm here.
Okay, Anjan, here is a question here that someone has asked here, and they said after MSc, okay, if one wants to work on what is this SCA?
I think material characterization equipment, XRD, that is X-ray diffraction, and
Exactly.
let me just. Yeah, I think one of the industry also does use all these equipments. For example, when I was working at Continental, the company itself had its own R&D facility where I could work on, for example, SEM, which is scanning electron microscope, or atomic force microscope, or XRD, and other diffraction methods. So, I mean, the best thing would be nobody would probably allow you to work on those equipments directly. So one way to do that would be to look for internships in research organizations, or do a thesis. I would strongly suggest do a thesis in material characterization, where you will be able to touch and work on all these equipments. Europe, I think, would be a good destination to choose for all kinds of material science studies. But if somebody wants to look for an industry that works especially on this, then I would go for semiconductor manufacturing companies like Texas Instruments or Infineon or Intel, AT&S. There is a very nice facility of AT&S in London, Mysore.
I'll just STM is available currently on IO, and the students can be allowed to work on STM. Whether it's a summer internship or a dissertation, no issue. You don't have to go up to the PhD level. But STM is available, and people from the Goa University, and we do analysis for the various research all over India, our lab. Okay, and now we allow people to work for STM. And there are so advantage of being a national lab. So it's across. People can come and work with this SEM or atomic absorber. There are n number of instrumentation, either the chemistry department or in the geology department. There are n number of instrumentation. Maybe most of the people are aware of, and maybe you can pay a visit to the institution, or maybe look at our website www.nio.org, where you can see the various instrumentation. And as either Anmol said or maybe Misha said, you can actually look at the various researchers of what they are doing. So much instrumentation is available. Chemical Oceanography department, or maybe the marine geology department. Beautiful geophysics. Marine geophysics. None of the people have looked at this one. You also look at and work for the institutions like ONG, Adani, laying them, look at the various instrumentation. Okay.
Are there any questions from the participants?
I had seen one more question on whether a faculty member can make into the industry. That is an interesting question, actually, to move from academia to industry. And like I mentioned, it is for sure possible, meaning the right kind of skill which are required to get into the industry. Because we already get all of this. The quality people today are researchers, and it is another example that move from a research position to a management position. So what skills will absolutely help you get there?
And then can I answer this?
Yeah, sure.
For example, our institution is called Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. So not only faculty, people can migrate after doing research. A lot of people are actually going into pharmaceutical. And Goa incidentally has about 11 or 12 pharmaceutical industries which have done. So we have a strong program in NIA called Drugs from the Sea, where we want to look at actually making of new molecules. In addition to that, people actually have done work actually in marine geology as well as marine geophysics are directly recruited actually in the industries, let's say ONGC, oil and natural gas, this one, as well as various Geological Survey of India. So there is plenty of opportunity if you do. And we have a division called Ocean Engineering Division, which actually is very, very important to look at if you want to have actually some offshore structures and also energy. There are a lot of structures which come wind farming, wind energy, and a lot of things which can be done. So if you want to have actually a jetty or a port or whatever, so a lot of things which are happening offshore construction, and even you want to have something on the coastal areas where the physical oceanography or the coastal ocean. So we don't allow the cyclone is going to come. So that is the places where actually the physical oceanographers play an important role. Meteorology. So there the NIO gives actually a lot of EIA, we call it, environmental impact assessment. And once you do research, or even both the faculties as well as the scientists can actually migrate into thanks to their knowledge actually of research and science and such things. Okay, so they can easily migrate because of this. Let's say the background in research as well as and experience and knowledge. Especially when you talk of instrumentation. Thanks to that, lots of instrumentation at NIO or maybe NCFO or maybe Goa University or maybe BITS. They get to handle the hands dirty, I would say, and field experience. And incidentally, in our institute, NIO has actually two research vessels. The research vessel experience is very, very important because it is not you cannot get actually an experience by sitting in the lab. For an oceanography or meteorology, you have to go into the ocean and collect data, and you get to know various instrumentation which is hardly cost. Most of the instruments cost 1 crore or more. Most of the universities may not be able to afford. So some of the national institutions like NIO or maybe NCFO. So they only have this huge instrumentation, and the ship say gets huge amount, about 300 or 400 crores of rupees is needed to have a ship, and to go on a cruise to look at some particular, I would say the experience, whether it's a fact thanks to the knowledge, plus some experience because whether it is actually SEM or AS or maybe water. Most of this, let's say the pharmaceutical companies would like to know. So such things are actually provided by the institutions like say NIO, NCO, or even Goa University.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, we are serving by many people. So I call upon Dr. propose what things.
Thank you, Dr. Mishkin. I first of all congratulate our alumni, and I'm so happy and so excited to listen to their success story. I'm so proud. So now I start my vote of thanks. I express my deepest gratitude to our management for supporting today's event. Also very grateful to our principal, Professor Vrinda Boker, for her encouragement and guidance. Our sincere to Dr. Ramesh Kumar, retired Chief Scientist NIO, for accepting the role of chairperson for today's webinar. I also extend my thanks to our alumni speakers, Mr. Anjan Gopishetty, Mr. Anmol Naik, Ms. Michelle Rodriguez, for their valuable guidance to our students. We really wish that many of our students follow your path and become successful like you and make us proud. We are really proud of you, our students, Michelle, Anjan, and Anmol, and I wish all the best for your future endeavors. I thank Dr. Mishkel Naik for initiating and organizing this webinar. I also take this opportunity to thank our head of the department, Professor Bourrier, and all my colleagues in physics department. I thank Marshall for his technical support. Finally, last but not least, I thank all the participants for making this webinar very great success. I also thank Alicia for her support and Ramamurthy, Dr. Ramamurthy, all my colleagues rather. And thank you very much and stay safe and have a nice day.
Thank you all.